Today, I want to welcome you into a subject that I actually have personally been navigating through in a variety of cycles throughout, I think, the last several years. And I think that it's going to resonate with you. The vehicle of external validation and what that subject is all about. Hi, I'm Abigail, Energy Light Healing. Let's dive in. Ooh, man, this subject, right? It's interesting to me, right, that as individuals, as humans, there is almost this necessity. We feel as if there is this necessity when there is some kind of energetic, emotional interruption into our reality, into our life, into our journey and path. Our first tendency is let me seek help. Let me go out and actually get someone else's opinion on my personal life, on what I'm actually navigating through. And I'm not saying that this is wrong, right? I'm not saying that there's anything wrong with this, but I want to welcome something into your field if this hasn't been introduced to you already. What about attempting to check with yourself first? Sitting with where this emotion is actually landing. Where am I feeling what is being triggered, what is being brought up, where this situation is actually landing within my cellular self, within my physical self, within my emotional self, within my energetic spaces and zones? Where is this information, situation, trauma, trigger actually activating? What is it activating within me? And then as I'm able to sit with that, what is actually being brought up? What version of myself is actually being activated through this, impacted negatively? Is it my 4-year-old self? Is it my 10-year-old self? Is it my 20-year-old self? I find so much power in community. I really do. I think that having trusted, loyal, beautiful friends, confidants, people that you can trust, right, on your corner and on your side is imperative on this journey. There isn't a singular person that can navigate through this life on their own. And I feel like when we do it in community, there is so much breath, there's so much strength. You know what I mean? There's also a variety of perspective. We're able to see life through the lens of what they've been able to witness. So it really broadens that horizon for you, yeah? But I pray that the very first voice that you are able to listen to is your own. Currently, it might be happening right now in your current existence. There has been this massive abruption of shift of energy. There has been almost this undulation of energetic, emotional wave that has kind of come and said, I am here to collect the trash. It has said, this is no longer serving us, so therefore let's actually witness it once more. Let's actually really bring it up to the surface so that you can see it clearly. You can see the people that are no longer serving you. You can see the patterns that have been draining you and holding you back. You can look at all of these root core aspects of self that you are genuinely ready to let go of. So let's bring it up to the surface, because you keep tucking it away in all these little pockets and all these little corners of the self, and let's see what happens. And so that's where these particular triggers come from. Then all of a sudden, these trauma patterns and responses and reactions kind of enact. It's like a domino effect, yeah? So then you get to come into self and say, how do I feel? I am a sovereign being. There is this thing called inner authority, where I'm able to stand in my own energy and feel into my own strength, my own wisdom, my own power, vision, and really witness this for what it is instead of what my judgments are having me look at it as. Where I'm able to witness my own life and release myself from the very limited, narrow view of how I've been watching it. Because you see what happens, and again, I'm not against it. But what tends to happen when we invite in a lot of chefs into the kitchen is that they come with their own brand of ingredients and their own ways of cooking the meal. They have their own ideas and concepts, and some of them will really work. They do. But sometimes that'll also confuse you, the leader, the head. the one actually navigating the experience. So when it begins to get very clouded, very foggy, very confusing, one person's telling you one thing, another person's telling you another thing, and it just continues, the layers of that confusion keep adding up on top of one another. Yeah. Here's the simplest way to actually collect everything and bring yourself back. Silence the noise. Bring it back to simplicity. Release all the tarot readings, release all the astrological messages, release the channeler and all of this other stuff, the good intended friend, the family member that wants to assist because they love you. Release it all and just come back into a stillness of self, into a quietness of self, where you can listen to the whisper of your soul, the way that your heart really wants to meet you right where you are, if you allow it, if you let it, if you're willing, if you're brave enough to listen. And just come back into that space, released of all the noise, distortion, fog, and bring it back to that beautiful 0 point, that neutral zone of self. That's where you're going to find your answer. Again, I find strength in community. I think it is imperative actually to gain perspective. But I pray that at the end of the day, regardless of what you're navigating through, the first voice and the final voice that you listen to is your own. Thank you so much for journeying with me today. If this message resonated and you'd like to hear more of my content, make sure to click subscribe. And also, if you'd like for me to talk about any other subject, feel free to leave that in the comments. I love you so much. Have a beautiful day.